Hello and welcome to Will It Roll Supercar Edition. Why did I agree to this? This was a stupid idea. Anyway, we're going to give it a go. We have three supercars for you today. The first one is a Ferrari F40, as you probably will have noticed. I saw a suggestion for this. Someone said I should roll this one to annoy Daniel because he loves this car, and I like that idea. So here we go. We're going to give it a go. I have to say the F40 is one of my more favourite Ferraris. I think I'd probably still go for the 360 Challenge just for the handling, because that thing is so nice to drive. But the F40 is a bit better looking, much cooler. It sounds amazing, and it does handle relatively well. Not quite as good as the Challenge, but it is a very nice car to drive, and I do recommend you go drive it if you haven't already. But the chances are you will have done, because it's an awesome car. Anyway, on to rolling the damn thing. This is not easy with supercars, as you will probably have guessed. The ride height, that one there, is very low. The cars are very wide, which makes the centre of gravity in them very low, which is good for cornering. You want that in a car to go around corners. The lower the centre of gravity is, the better. When it comes to rolling, it's a terrible idea. The higher the centre of gravity is better, which is why these things are such a challenge. Speed is also a rather big issue, as you saw there. This corner here is horrendous in these cars, because if you try and take it flat out and you sort of get on two wheels, it's very difficult to get them stopped because they do go very fast. But of course the speed is helpful in other ways, in that you do need a bit of speed to roll the cars, like we saw with the DeLorean. That wouldn't roll because it was too slow, whereas with these they do actually have the speed to roll them. But it was I kind of gave up pretty quickly. It was only sort of 5-6 minutes, and you figure out that this thing is not going to roll standard. So to the upgrade shop, and the suspension was raised, and the ride height was the suspension was raised and stiffened, and that one I nearly said it wrong again. That's twice I've said that stuff messed up. Never mind, ignore me, I'm babbling. Yes, the suspension was raised up and it was stiffened, and yeah, it's really not that interested in rolling. This did take a while. This was about sort of 15-20 minutes after modifying it. I was driving this thing for. I was trying not to have such long run up coming from this direction to give it a bit of chance of stopping, and it was kind of working there. You see, it was starting to look like maybe slightly possible. It went in the wall again. I hate that tyre bundle. It's or concrete wall or what. The tyres don't act like tyres, you just bounce off them, which is a bit weird. And there we go. That was kind of looking maybe a little bit like it was going to roll there. But yeah, it was very tricky with this car. As I said, it was probably about 20 minutes after modifying it to get this thing to, well, kind of amazingly roll. I don't know how that works. And it's now camouflaged with the tyres. It's trying to blend in. I don't know how I managed to get that thing to roll. It really didn't look like it was going to roll at any point. But there we go. It was modified. You will never get that thing to roll standard. Maybe handbrake on the grass, but not without that. So up next is the Pagani Huayra, or whatever sound beginning with H you want to make, because it's a silly name for a car. Again, this is another one cars Daniel actually quite likes. But this one was just because loads of people suggested we should try and roll this one. I can never quite decide if I like the Huayra. It's not my favourite car in the world to drive. I can't really explain why. I apologise for my terrible cinematography camera work there. Somehow I managed to park it and the camera gets stuck behind the tyre wall. Never mind. Yeah, as I said, I can never quite decide if I like the Huayra. It doesn't drive. I don't like the driving style, the way it drives particularly. I also don't like those wing mirrors. I know Pagani are a bit silly, but no, I don't like them. I do like the flap things on it. Only a Pagani could get away with having them, because most cars it would look silly, but on a Pagani it kind of works because that's what Pagani are all about. Anyway, on to trying to roll the blooming thing, and well, this one was easier than the F40. Okay, I'm going to start by saying that this one didn't take as long as the F40 did. Again, it is very wide, it is very low. It's a lot faster than the F40 as well. But as you can see there, it actually kind of went on two wheels a little bit, which really surprised me. That wasn't after too long either. I think there's the statistic that's gone. I've hidden them. I can't see them. Like 700 horsepower in this thing, weighs 3,000 pounds. It is a very quick car, which means the turning for this bit here is quite tricky. That was about as close as it got to rolling standard, and I found a wall again. Looking at the tyres. So yeah, I don't think, again, this thing, you're not going to roll it standard, not without some assist with the grass. Anyway, it was to the upgrade shop. Yes, it's changed colours a little bit. This is the one I had in my garage, so sorry about that. I forgot that this one had a livery on it. Anyway, the suspension was raised and stiffened again, as per normal, and we have to try some more, and that was the second attempt with this car, with the upgrades, and it kind of nearly rolled. Oh God, why do you need to cough when you start recording stuff? That's so annoying. Anyway, yes, as you can see, this thing is it's kind of nearly rolling over. What's going on? This didn't take anywhere near as long as the Ferrari. Once you stuck the upgrades in it, it was looking sort of quite relatively easy to roll, and there we go. Look at that. I can't believe I rolled that one. And bounced off the tyre bundle for good measure. And look at that, I rolled a Wara. I wasn't expecting to say that one today either. Yeah, that was a relatively straightforward to roll when it was upgraded. Not the easiest thing in the world to drive because of so much speed trying to aim for that curb and not end up in that tyre wall inadvertently. But there we go, that is 2 down and 1 more to go. And oh dear God, this thing was not particularly fun to try and roll, the Lamborghini Aventador. I've just figured out or just realised that all the 3 cars, all of the ones that have been in here that were suggested by people are the cars Daniel likes. Nobody tell him, don't tell him because he'll get annoyed. There will be anger that I've rolled all his favourite cars. This Aventador is not an easy car to roll, I'm going to say that now. This one probably took the best part of an hour to get it to do what it does. Yeah, this wasn't fun. I'm going to be honest. It's very fast again, like the Wara, and because it's 4-wheel drive, it does understeer a little bit, which makes aiming for the curb at any speed sort of quite difficult. And because of how low it is to the ground, you need to aim with quite a lot of speed to get these things to sort of lift up a wheel. I'd also like to point out, actually, I forgot to mention this earlier, when you do upgrade the suspension and you like raise the ride height, you're only raising it by like an inch, from like 4 inches, maybe even less than some of these cars, to 5 inches, which isn't a lot compared to some of the cars we've had rolling. As you can see, standard wise with this Aventador, you know, it's just not going to do it. Again, maybe assisted on the grass it might, but I would think these things would probably be too low anyway. They do go quite fast. That one there was about as close as it got to rolling standard, which wasn't really a huge amount. I'm not quite sure why this car is so much more tricky than everything else. And we're not going to stop. There's a wall there. Never mind. To the upgrades shop again. You're not going to roll that thing standard. So the suspension was raised and stiffened again, and I actually put some. No, can I remember this? Positive? Is it positive camber? It's counter to what everybody does with the silly Japanese cars. The reason why I did this is because as it goes over, the curve goes onto 2 wheels. The idea was by having the wheels at that angle, it would sort of minimise the tyre contact with the road and it would be more likely to fling it over. That was the theory behind it. Was it working? No, it really wasn't. As you can see here, even with the suspension and the camber and everything, it did make it very hard to drive, or not too hard. It was very weird to drive, probably a better way of putting it. But as you can see there, no, it's really not interested in trying to roll. To be honest, that's not even doing much better than the blooming standard thing was, which confused me. Normally it's not too bad. That was as close as it got with that setup on it. It really wasn't particularly spectacular. So I fiddled about with the tuning setup for a while. I tried various combination of parts and sort of suspension settings and camber and stuff. In the end, it has raised ride height, stiffened suspension, and a roll cage, full roll cage, and it's now got negative camber on it because I put it on and it did that first time, so I thought I'd kind of sussed how to do it. So I was filled with confidence as we go for a second attempt, and you know, okay, so maybe system not work so well, but then I found the tyre wall, and somehow it's on its roof. I don't know how physics of that works. It's upside down, and that's what matters. It's rolled. A little bit cheaty, I'm going to be honest. Do you people think that should count? Well, I hope so, because I'm going to have a little bit of a spoiler here, but that's as good as it gets with the Aventador. So I've rolled it back onto its wheels. I was going to try again and see if I could actually get it to roll properly. The answer is no. As I said, I spent about an hour trying to get this car to roll with the upgrades in, and it just wasn't going to do it. I spent quite a lot of time after that sort of flip off the tyres, and I think this is the best it got there. There might be one that was a little bit better, but I lost or I couldn't find the position in the replay. So the Aventador is very, very, very hard to roll. I don't know why it's that much harder than everything else, than the Wara and the F40. This is by far the hardest car I've had on this show. So yeah, maybe it would roll with these parts if you got it just right. But after my many times of trying, I couldn't get it to. Again, grass maybe, but I don't like doing that particularly with these cars. So yeah, it's an incredibly hard thing to try and roll. We're going to hit the tyre walls. No, I think I just about got away with it that time. Yeah, I hope that counts because that's as good as it's going to get. So the Aventador is the first car to sort of beat me. It kind of, yeah, it's a bit of a cheaty roll, I'm going to be honest. Okay, what have we got to be doing next week? Oh, I saw this challenge. I like this idea. We're going to be buying 10,000 credit cars off the auction house, and then we're going to be trying to roll them. This one will be interesting because we won't be able to modify them. So who knows what we will have next week, but I'm sure some stuff will get rolled. As it normally does here. I'll find a way. So that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.